Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jaysia. Today's video is going to be all about how I grew my hair strong and healthy after buzzing my hair off. So I'm going to be showing how I went from this, which was supposed to represent my natural wavy hair. This was like, I think, days before I shaved off my hair. And it wasn't even like the worst. It actually got worse. But that's like a long story. Anyway, it was actually funny. I thought it was funny. To this, which is what my wavy hair is supposed to look like when it's well taken care of. And so I'm gonna be and this is like my natural wavy hair, by the way. So I'm gonna be talking about how I was able, because yes, I shaved off my hair, which is obviously gonna make a big difference, but it was also my hair care routine that made a big difference. And I know that because I shaved off my hair like several times by now, and there were times where I was not as dedicated to my hair care routine as I was like the first time that I shaved it off back in 2020. And that's what I'm gonna be talking about today, because that was like the best hair care routine that I've ever had. And when I didn't follow that type of routine, there was definitely a difference, even after shaving off my hair. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking all about how I grew my hair strong and healthy. And I think this video is going to be like especially helpful for anyone that is either like growing out a buzz cut or a pixie cut, because I do have like some advice. I think this video would be good for anyone, but especially for someone with short hair that is like growing it out and want it to be as healthy as possible. That's what I'm going to be talking about today's video. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Okay, so the very first thing that I started with in my hair care journey, especially because I really wanted like healthy hair, was to start with my scalp care routine. So I never really thought about that before. I would just like shampoo, conditioner. I didn't really think about my scalp, but back then and now I do, because that's where the hair comes from. So I really wanted to like take good care of like the skin on my head, the follicles. So I started using a scalp serum. And so the one that I was using back then, I don't know if it still exists, was by Hairstyle, and it was the Initialist, I think it was called. Let me check. I think it was the Initialist. It was like a golden bottle. It was a really good one because I used up like 3 bottles. So I really liked the way that my hair looked and feel every time that I was using this serum. But that was like one of the very first things that I started. And it's really easy if you have like very short hair. You have like instant access to your scalp. So it's very easy to apply. If you use like a serum a lot, like consistently on a daily basis, I think it's gonna work even better. But that was something that I did. Now, one thing that I did not do, but I would recommend for anyone who is maybe experiencing like problems with like growing their hair, is to start your pre-wash routine with a scalp oil. In particularly, the one that I would recommend is like rosemary oil. So I'm gonna be showing like one here. I think it's by Miel. It's like a very popular one, and I think it's also very affordable. Now, I do think though that if you are experiencing that, probably you should go to a doctor and maybe get your blood checked just to see if there's no medical reason for this. Maybe you're like missing something, I don't know, so they can like find it or whatever. First of all, it's like it's very antioxidant based. It's anti-inflammatory. But it helps to promote like a healthy blood circulation. So what can cause hair loss sometimes is when you're not getting like a good blood supply to the hair follicles, which can then lead to the follicles dying out because they're not getting enough blood supply. But rosemary oil has like the ability to basically provide the scalp with like good circulation. So that is definitely something that I would recommend. And I would not only do that, but I would use like a massage brush like this, a massage brush, and I would like massage as I do this. So by applying the rosemary oil and then maybe like also giving it a nice massage, it's like a win-win. Just by massaging the scalp, it's very healthy for the follicles because it promotes like a good blood flow, like a good circulation. So that is something that I would recommend if you have that problem. Now let's say your hair is a little bit longer. So of course, as I was like buzzing off my hair was growing. At some point it was getting long enough for me to like start brushing. Also, something that I started doing was like detangle my hair prior to washing it, just to get all the knots, all the tangles out of the hair, because obviously when the hair is wet, it's more susceptible to breakage. So even though at the time, yes, I shaved off my hair, it was in relatively good health, and I do still brush my hair in the shower, but it's gonna like be easy. My brush is gonna like glide through my hair. I would definitely like brush my hair first before I get in the shower. It's just gonna make the whole showering hair wash routine a lot easier in my opinion. It's basically part of a good pre-wash routine. Okay, so now moving on to my hair wash routine in the shower. So at the time I was like looking for a good hair care routine that I was gonna be very consistent with. So I wanted that to include bond repair and and I wanted to use like a rich protein based mask combined with a good bond repair. I decided to go with Fanola, and till this day this still remains one of the best hair care routines that I've ever used, and I still recommend this to pretty much anyone who asks, because this worked so beautifully for me. And you know what I love about this? This is like salon quality bond repair, but it's actually quite affordable, especially if you compare it to, you know, other brands like K18, Olaplex. I mean, they're very good and they work for sure because I've used it. It absolutely works. But this, I mean, this contains like 1,000 milliliter, you know, so it's pretty big. The shampoo bottle, very, very big. Like this would last me at least a year. I was even using this with my sister. I think it's pretty affordable for the amount of product you get, and I really wanted to keep it very simple back then, you know. I didn't want to have like my shower with like 35 different bottles of shampoos and conditioners anymore. I wanted to just have a very strict routine, easy to remember, nothing complicated, and just something that I can be very consistent with. And like I said, for the amount of product you get, this is actually pretty affordable, and you're getting high quality ingredients, because this worked for me till this day. Even though yes, I am using K18 now, I'm using Living Proof, I'm using like all, just because I want to experiment, I want to try out like all the new things. But till this day, I can't say that the results are better than when I was using Fanola Bond Repair, but the price is a lot better. A lot better. So if I don't see this, I mean, if I don't see like a big difference with the products that I'm using now, I will absolutely go back to this routine, because I was using these products for 2 years straight. 9 out of 10. This was all that I was using in the shower. Amazing. So what did I do? First thing is I would double cleanse. So this was like my shampoo at the time, which I love. It never dries like my hair, but it does provide like a good cleansing, so I love that. But first I would double cleanse. Now the way that I did it is I would apply my shampoo in sections, because I wanted to make sure that I was getting the shampoo everywhere. Now of course, when my hair was like a buzz cut or like a pixie cut, it was easy. I didn't have to do that because it was really short, and so it was different. But as my hair was growing out, I would not just squirt the shampoo on my hand and then just like randomly apply it. I would be very like strategic in my placement to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I would apply it first like here, and then I would even like, I would like even separate my hair and like apply it here. I would apply it like in the back, and then also behind my ears. So I would do like in sections. That was like for the first wash. Usually by the second cleanse, it's gonna foam really, really well, but the first time it's not gonna lather as well, just because you have like a lot of product in your hair, some oils. So I would definitely like do my best to make sure that I would not miss anything. And I would always do like a double cleanse. What I would also do is use a massage brush, and I would just start massaging, making sure that I'm not missing anything. The reason why I recommend this, number one, it was actually providing my scalp with like good exfoliation, just because I have like very dry hair, a dry scalp, so it can lead to like flakiness. So whenever I was using that didn't happen anymore. The flakiness would stop, or the dandruff. Again, it's giving you like a good circulation, and like it's providing like healthy circulation, like blood flow circulation, I guess, which is really good for the follicles. So I would really take my time with this. I would also take my time with this if I was using like a pre-oil. Definitely recommend to really like take your time and massage, and then leave the oil in for like half an hour or an hour. It's really good for the health of your scalp. So that is also something that I was doing every single time that I washed my hair. So then after cleansing, I would go in with a bond repair treatment. Now I would definitely like saturate my hair with this. I wouldn't, which is why I love this bottle. When you have a bottle like this, I don't have to be cheap. Like I can use a good amount of product, because if you're somebody, by the way, that your shampoo like runs out way faster than your conditioner, you're probably not using enough conditioner. And I've learned the hard way. I mean, I do use enough conditioner, but I have learned that dry hair is a force to be reckoned with. It can destroy your hair just when the hair is too dry, especially if the hair is already like compromised. So it's really important to apply enough in your hair. I understand if you have like oily hair, don't apply it too close to the scalp, obviously, but don't be shy, don't be afraid to put a good amount on your mid shafts and ends. I always did that. My sister didn't, and that's why every time, even though she wasn't bleaching, not coloring, barely using heat, she would always have split ends, breakage, split ends working their way up her hair, and then it would constantly break and her hair would not grow. So I told her that she needs to use more conditioner, more mask, so that her hair would not be dry. Because I've learned the hard way that dry hair leads to brittleness, then that's gonna give you breakage, split ends, and then of course the hair is not gonna grow properly. So very important. So I would do my bond repair. I would apply it like all over my hair, and I would leave this in my hair for about 15 minutes. Now I was really invested in my routine, like I was dedicated, so I didn't mind waiting for 15 minutes every time that I washed my hair. I would recommend probably like at least 5 minutes, but I did 15 minutes. Eventually I would do like 10 minutes if I was really lazy, but for the majority of the time I would do 15 minutes like strict. That was just like my thing, 15 minutes. Then I would rinse everything out, and I would make sure that I do a good job rinsing. I rinse thoroughly until I don't feel any like slipperiness in my hair. Then I would go in with a hair mask, in particularly a protein mask. So the one that I was using was also by Fanola, and look at how huge that is. I think this is really affordable, especially for the amount of product that you get. So with this you can really like apply it liberally. You know, you don't have to be like economical about it. But I had, like I said, best results. My hair never looked more beautiful than those 2 years of growing out my Buzzcut. And these were like the only products that I was using every single time. Well, 9 out of 10, I will explain later what else I would sometimes use. But 9 out of 10, this is what I use. So I knew that I could like do a really long time with this. So I would apply this after the bond repair. After I rinse it, I would apply this and I would leave it in my hair for about 10 minutes. So usually the bond repair would be 15 minutes. This would be 10 minutes. Minimum, I guess 5, but I did 10 minutes. I didn't mind. So then that was pretty much it for like my shower routine at the time. I wasn't doing anything else. So like that was my routine. I had the best hair. Only those 3 products I would use every single time that I washed my hair. So another thing that I would also do, like maybe once or twice a month, is to do like a clarifying shampoo. So at the time, I don't remember like the brand that I was using. I don't remember which one I was using, but like these are the ones that I use now, because I really wanted to make sure that I didn't have like any buildup in my hair. Even though like the Fanola shampoo I think does contain sulfate, so it does a pretty good job cleaning my hair. Occasionally I would do like a detox just to make sure there was nothing in my hair, and that any like bond repair, protein, like any repair product that I would put in my hair would actually like penetrate into the hair without anything like preventing it. So clarifying is definitely something that I recommend, maybe like once or twice a month. I mean, it depends really like on the person. When I lived in Belgium, I never had any problems with my water, or at least not where I lived in Belgium. But then I moved to Spain, to a completely different location. I guess the water in this region is also different. I was having a lot of problems with the water in my hair and how it was just drying out my hair like crazy. Also a force to be reckoned with. Like water can also be very, very destructive. And the K18 Peptide Preps Detox Shampoo, also designed to like remove any metals from the hair, anything that you get from like water that's not good for you. And then also back when I had like really short hair, I was able to wash my hair more consistently, but then I wouldn't want to use like a shampoo every single time that I wash my hair. So something that would work, and especially now they have like a lot of products on the market, is like something like an apple cider vinegar rinse or very gentle shampoo. So that is something that I started using like a year ago. This is the Silk Amino Mega Moisturizing Shampoo. This is like a cream shampoo. It doesn't contain any sulfates. It does actually like cleanse well and I wash my hair more frequently and I don't want to use like a shampoo every single time, like a sulfate shampoo, I would use either something like this or like an apple cider vinegar. So like the DP Hue is like a good one. And then I think there's like a drugstore version as well. The Shea Moisture one, Shea Moisture also has like an apple cider vinegar rinse. So that's like a perfect alternative for days where you still want to cleanse your hair, but you're afraid that the shampoo is gonna dry the hair. Then you can use something like this in between shampooing if you do wash your hair more than once or twice a week. That is something that I would also recommend as part of like the hair care wash routine. Now, there is like one thing that I do want to mention for anybody that is growing out short hair. I mean, either like a buzz cut, a pixie cut, something that I've experienced. And do let me know in the comment section below if you've experienced it as well. I'm really curious because I've experienced this more than once. So I don't know if I'm the only one. I really want to know. But something that I've learned, especially like the first time, and actually like after I shaved off my hair a few times, what not to do, because I did do the correct thing the first time, but not the second time that this happened. So I would say extra care when growing out really short hair, like let's say a pixie cut. Something that I have learned and experienced, when my hair is really short, I always sleep on a silk pillow, by the way, and I was doing that back then as well. As my hair was like really tiny, there was no problem. But once my hair was like starting to grow, like the pixie was starting to grow out. So it was still a pixie, but it was starting to like morph a little bit into a mullet in certain eras. Like it wasn't a bob yet, but it was really starting to grow out as a pixie. So I would say probably month 8, around that time. When the hair, you know, especially in the back, right? Because when you have, especially a buzz cut, you have like all of these layers growing out everywhere. But once the hair gets longer, but it's still too short, what was happening was the ends would start rubbing against my pillow, which would cause friction. And that friction would cause brittleness, dryness, which then led to like breakage, split ends. And so I started feeling the back of my hair. And this was like the first time that I shaved off my hair. And I was taking really good care of my hair. But suddenly I noticed just out of nowhere, like I think it was month 8, month 9, around that time, I started noticing only in the back of my hair that it felt dry and brittle. It was still in the very early stages. So the damage was very mild. So I caught it early and I immediately like intensified my bond repair routine, which I will explain what I did. But I guess, you know, if the hair, because when you think about it, when you have longer hair and you're sleeping on the pillow with your hair, like the ends might sometimes touch the pillow, I don't know. But if you have short hair like this, then as you move your head, those ends start rubbing against the pillow, which then leads to friction. And that's what was causing me like the split ends, you know. So I wanted to stop this as early as possible because I know split ends are just gonna work their way up and up and up, and it's just gonna cause so many problems in the future. Been there, done that. So I was like, no way. So what I did, and it worked, but I caught it in the early stages. If I would have waited longer, which I did last year, it's not going to be the same. So I decided to do like a standalone Olaplex treatment. So I'm gonna show what I was using, and they actually now have like an at-home version of this. So this was like the salon version. Back then they didn't have like an at-home version. So this is Olaplex number 1 and Olaplex number 2. And as you can see, especially number 2, I've used a lot of this, but I use this many times. Number 1 is usually what is like mixed with like bleach, lightener, hair color, you know, to keep the hair as healthy as possible while lightening the hair. So I was like, okay, I need to go a little bit more intense on the bond repair. So obviously number 2 is a bond repair treatment, but when you combine it with number 1, it's bond repair on steroids. It's much more intense. And the same can be done with Fanola, by the way, like the brand that I was showing. Number 1, there's number 1, this is number 2. So there's number 1, the way that you use it, whether it's Olaplex, it's Fanola, it doesn't really matter. And by the way, they have an at-home version of this as well, which I will explain briefly. So I started doing this, and I was doing this once a week, every week. And I think I was doing this repeatedly for like 4 to 5 weeks. After that, my hair was like brand new. All of those split ends that I was feeling in the back, they were gone. I went from needing a haircut to not needing a haircut. Like my hair just felt silky, felt so smooth. It was as if there was never any damage to begin with. Because I think I caught it very early in the game, because bond repair does have the ability to actually revert damage. But you don't want to wait too long until the damage is like really, really bad. But in the early stages, like you can completely maybe even like reverse it, and that's what happened to me. So I was using like the Olaplex shampoo and then the Olaplex conditioner. The very first thing that I did was I would double cleanse as usual, but again, use any shampoo you have. It doesn't have to be like this one. So I would double cleanse, then on towel dried hair. So I didn't want my hair to be like drenching wet. So you have to like basically mix this with water. Now I don't remember the exact measurement. I thought, wait. It doesn't say here, but I mean you can look it up. It's very easy to find, you know, how to like do the measurement. I don't remember anymore how much it was, but you have to like mix this with water. I would then shake the bottle. So I would just use like an applicator, like a hair color applicator bottle. I would shake it, and then on towel dried clean hair, so I would apply number 1 all over my hair. I would use like one of those plastic little caps because I really wanted to like let the product marinate in my hair. So I would apply number 1 all over my hair, and then I would let it sit for 25 minutes. Now I wasn't joking when I said I was very dedicated to my hair. You don't have to. I think they recommend like 10 minutes, but I wanted 25 minutes. So that's what I did. I would just, you know, clip my hair up in the shower, and then with like a plastic cap, I would just let it sit for about 25 minutes. Then don't rinse. You're not supposed to rinse. You keep the product in your hair, and then you apply number 2. Now, if you do get the at-home versions, because they've released this now, they didn't have that back then. I'm gonna show like a picture. The at-home version is 0 and 3. 3 is like very popular. So yeah, but I think the 0, you don't have to mix it with anything. It's already like pre-mixed, pre-prepared, so it's very easy. But the bottles are like a lot smaller, obviously, especially if you compare it to this, but it's also a lot more expensive. But anyway, like I said, I was very dedicated to my routine, so I didn't mind, and I really wanted my hair to be very, very healthy. So I would do number 1, let it sit for 25 minutes, and then on top of that, after 25 minutes, I would apply number 2. And again, I would apply it liberally, not a little bit, enough. Clip my hair back up with the same plastic cap, back over my head, and then let that sit for another 15 minutes. So yes, this definitely took some time, but I didn't care. I thought my hair was absolutely worth it. So I would do that, and then when I was done, rinse, and then I would finish off with the Olaplex conditioner, which I really like, by the way. It's my second bottle or third bottle, really good one. But again, it doesn't matter what you use. If you're using Fanola, go with that, like what I just used, or I mean what I just showed, or whatever you're using if you want to do the same routine. But that is what I did, and I did this consistently once a week, obviously not more because it's too much work. Once a week, every week. I think I did this for at least 4, maybe 5 times max. I mean, even after the first time, I already noticed like a big difference. But by, I think like the 4th time, I was like, I don't see anything anymore, like no damage, I don't feel anything, like my hair just felt new again. So I was so impressed, and I wasn't even expecting it to be that good, by the way. So I was like, okay, this stuff works, but I didn't want to do this type of routine like every single week. So then I would just do like maintenance, just like for prevention. I would do this maybe every 6 or 8 weeks. Sometimes I would forget, it would be 2 months. I would just go back to like what I showed earlier, like the Fanola, like I said, 9 out of 10. And then occasionally I would do the standalone Olaplex number 1 and number 2. And then sometimes instead of like the conditioner, I would use the Apogee Keratin 2-minute reconstructor, which I felt when I used it with Olaplex, it was like a match made in heaven. I felt like if I was using this, so the Keratin reconstructor, not the protein one, that's like a different story, a very good one, but you have to have very damaged hair, and it works differently. Not that one. The Keratin 2-minute reconstructor. I would use that with Olaplex number 1 and 2, and my hair was just mwah, was gorgeous. I loved it. My hair was so healthy, and as my hair was like growing, I didn't notice any damage anymore. So I'm really, really curious. I would like to know in the comment section if anybody is watching that has short hair or has grown out short hair, if they've noticed this happening to them as well, where the ends would start to feel really dry and brittle from sleeping on it once, you know, the pixie was like getting longer, but it was still kind of short and the ends were like rubbing against the pillow. If they were experiencing that, but because I did. It wasn't a one-time thing, because 2 years later I shaved off my hair again and I experienced it again. I experienced it last year as well, always around the same time. However, last year, I couldn't be bothered with my hair care routine. I mean, my mind was like in another place. And I will never do that again because it got worse. The split ends just started to work their way up, 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 and then now I would have to cut like this much of my hair to get rid of those split ends. And it started with something like this, and now it's like this far. Now, I personally don't have any problems with like split ends preventing my hair from growing. My hair will still grow, but still it feels really dry and it just doesn't feel good. So this routine definitely worked. I know this because when I didn't follow it, I had very different results and my hair just got worse. So I definitely recommend going a little bit intense on the bond repair, maybe like a standalone Olaplex treatment, whether it's the At Home 01 with 3, the Salon 1 and 2, or the Fanola 1 and 2. And then I didn't have to do like this Olaplex treatment consistently. I was only doing it like once every 6-8 weeks, sometimes even longer than that. I had what I needed, like I got what I needed from it, and it definitely worked. So I really wanted to mention that for anybody that's watching that has short hair, if you want to prevent this from happening, and if you notice this is happening, maybe consider a routine like this. Of course, yes, there are people that use like satin wraps on their heads when they go to bed. Ugh. I don't like it. I don't want to sleep with anything on my head. I don't like the way that it feels. I don't like how it looks. 9. I don't do that. I use a silk pillow. No, I don't do that. I use like a silk pillowcase. You can get it like in any shade you want. My bed is like red, so that's the color that I go with. And this obviously does make a big difference, but I mean, I guess once the hair does get like long enough but it's still short, it can cause some friction even on a silk pillow. If you don't mind sleeping with like something on your head to protect it, then you can do that, but 9. I don't put anything on my head when I go to bed. This is all. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Moving on to the final step, which is the post shower care hair routine. So then moving on to the final step, like the post shower hair care routine. The very first thing that I would always use, but I think a lot of people use that these days, is a microfiber towel. It's just better for the hair. If you don't have a towel like this, you can use like a cotton t-shirt. That's what I used to do. So I would start with this, and then I would make sure that my hair's not like drenching wet, but still a little bit damp, so everything is gonna absorb well into my hair. If I would apply a serum, which is what I was doing at the time, that's obviously like the very first thing that I would apply, especially when the hair is short. Super easy. Just apply it in section until it's like evenly distributed. You can even like use the massage brush again to help with like the blood circulation. I think like with this you just can't go wrong. It's so good for, I mean, it's so good for like the scalp. So that's the very first thing that I would begin with. So scalp serum. So, you know, back then I wasn't like using specific hair products. I mean, my leave-ins were not specifically designed for like damage repair. Because I was already doing that in the shower. So at the time I was like really into Moroccan oil. So I would use like the Moroccan oil smoothing lotion, the hydration cream. Then I would use the Moroccan oil heat protection. And then I would finish with this oil, which is still till this day one of the best oils I've ever used. Like I love this oil and it smells delicious, very divine. You know, that's what I was using back then. Now it's slightly updated. I mean, there's so much more on the market these days. So now I like to start my hair care routine, like my leave-in, or like some type of bond repair. So either I would use Living Proof Triple Bond Complex as the first product, or I would use something like the Fanola, which is the Bond Leave-In. There's also like a drugstore version, the L'Oreal Elvive, I think. I'll show like a picture, which is like also a leave-in, like a bond leave-in, but like a drugstore one. So this is like Salon. Like I mentioned, this is like one of the best brands ever. I love this, and I really maybe will go back to this routine. If I feel like the one that I do now is not that much better, it's good, it works. But if it's not, like if I don't see a huge difference, I will just go back to Fanola. But for leave-in, I would like to start nowadays with like a bond repair. And then something that I'm really like into these days is the Kerastase Night Serums. I love the way that it makes my hair feel. So this is the Magic Night Serum, and this is the Serum Cicat Nuit. So this is more for like bleached hair. This is more for dry hair. I alternate, I use both. I used this one yesterday when I washed my hair, but like before I was using this a lot. These days I like this one. It doesn't really matter what you use in terms of like leave-in, anything that you like really, but I mean these days there's just so much more bond repair on the market, so I guess may as well add that into your routine. You never, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And then of course I would like finish with a heat protection. So this is like my favorite these days. This is the Amika the Wizard Detangling Primer. At the time, my heat protection was by Moroccan Oil. Doesn't matter what you use, any of your favorite like hair products, whatever my desires are. Sometimes my desires, I mean, sometimes my needs are just to focus on hair repair. Sometimes I just want my hair to be really glossy and shiny, and then I would use like entirely different products. I make sure that I take good care of my hair in the shower. That's like the most important time, or pre-shower. Sometimes nowadays I do the Apres Bond Repair, like pre-wash. There's just so much on the market these days. Like back then, 4 years ago, yes, bond repair was a thing, but I don't think they had like everything that we have today. So there's so much to choose from. So I do like to experiment and try and just see if there's like a big difference or not. Something that I also did and that I highly recommend. So for example, besides just applying like a hair oil, like after styling the hair, depending on how many times you wash your hair, when my hair gets longer, I tend to wash my hair like once a week because I have really dry hair. My hair doesn't get oily. So what I would do is apply a hair oil on my ends, on my mid shafts and ends before going to bed, just to provide extra nourishment and oil, like hydration to my hair. And it's also gonna help like seal and protect my hair from any like maybe friction on the pillow, you never know, which can lead to brittleness. So I would do that. And another thing that I would also do, that I started doing like back then as well, is I would brush my hair like almost every night if I didn't forget, or every other night with a Boar bristle brush. So the benefits of a brush like this is it helps to not only like, it's supposed to like pull the oils from the scalp to your mid shafts and ends, it helps to like distribute it. So instead of like having all that oil build up on your scalp, you could just kind of like bring it all down. And I feel like the natural oils work the best anyways for like my hair. Keep it like hydrated. So this was like my little ritual that I would do every night or every other night. I mean, in the future, I really want to get the Mason Pearson brush because apparently it's like the best Boar bristle brush on the market, and it's been around for a really long time, long before it existed. So I really want that Mason Pearson brush, but this is the one that I was using, which is like an Italian brand. I bought it like on Niche Beauty. Doesn't really matter which one you use, I guess. It is a good brush, and I would just brush. And while you're doing it, yes, you're like distributing all the oils from your scalp. You're pulling it to the ends, which is really good for the mid shafts and ends, especially right before going to bed. But you're also like massaging the scalp. So again, you're promoting like a good, healthy blood circulation. So if your problem is hair loss, I feel like these types of routine is really beneficial because you're always giving the scalp like a good massage. Every time that you brush, you can really feel it because the Boar, like the Boar bristles do feel like a little bit hard. So as I brush it, it actually feels very relaxing. It's very stimulating. It feels really good. So it's very good for that blood flow, that circulation, to prevent those follicles from like being starved of getting like a blood supply. So I really wanted to ensure that I was taking good care of my scalp. So every night I would do this. And by the way, I would do this regardless of whether my hair was straight or wavy. I was able to commit, because of my hair care routine, I was able to commit like every textured, wavy, curly hair scene. I was able to dry brush my natural wavy hair, not just with a brush, but with a Boar bristle brush. If I would have ever attempted to do that before with my natural wavy hair, it would turn into a big poof ball. Usually, that's like a big no-no on textured hair, curly, wavy hair. It would just make the hair very, very frizzy. You can do it with straight hair, but not with wavy. Not me. I developed the perfect hair care routine. I knew how to style my hair. I knew what products to use in my hair. Obviously, if I had wavy hair, I would use very different products, but that's like for another video. But I will show a picture. Like this picture, my natural wavy hair, and I just brushed my hair. So I was doing this almost every night, especially if I applied like a hair oil. I would apply it, I would scrunch it into my hair, and then I would start brushing it. And I like brushing my natural wavy hair because it created like these nice, big, clumpy, wavy kind of pieces. So I knew how to style my hair, my natural wave, to make it look very clumpy, almost like I used a wand, like a curling wand. You know, I wanted to mimic that kind of look, you know, and so I would brush through the hair, just like anyone that does curl their hair. Usually they will like brush through the hair to separate and just make the hair look less coily, I guess, or less Shirley Temple kind of curls. I wanted like my waves to look more tousled, like a bedroom, beachy kind of wavy look. So I would dry brush through my wavy hair. If I would have ever done that before, my hair would have just been like this. But because of this routine, I was able to do anything that I wanted. I don't sleep in hair. Like if I have wavy hair, I don't do like sleep protection, sleep style protection. I hate that. I would not sleep in a pineapple or put like those satin stuff on my head. Ugh, I hate that. So I would sleep on my hair loose. But as long as I was taking good care of it, I was able to get away with it. Once my hair gets like past a certain length, that's not a problem anymore. Only when my hair was really short was that a problem with the pillow. But basically, that is what I did. That was my routine and it worked beautifully. It was like the best routine that I've ever had. I was very dedicated to this routine. I would do this consistently. Also, something that I forgot to mention that I also like to do occasionally is like a gloss treatment. So yeah, this is the Hairstyle's gloss, but they do have like the chroma gloss. So I think it's like similar to this one. So occasional gloss treatments is also really, really nice for the hair, just to like add some nice shine to it. So that's something that I like to do as well. These days, I like to style my hair straight because I have like a lot of layers. And I mean, I'm with this type of haircut, I don't think I would like my hair looking wavy. So I'm just gonna like grow it out, maybe, because I'm still thinking about going back short. I'm still thinking about going for like a pixie cut or shaving it off and then growing it into a pixie. I don't know, I'm so obsessed with the pixie these days. So I don't know about that. But if I do grow it out, then maybe I'll like get a haircut and then I can consider going back wavy again. And so as you can see, this picture, which was supposed to be my natural wavy hair. Yeah. And then I would like brush through the hair because I was like, you know, I don't know what that is anymore at this point. So I would brush and then it would look like this. Like it was really bad, but I thought it was funny. I had a lot of fun, to be honest. I don't take my hair seriously. I really don't. For me, it's an adventure. I love to play with my hair. I don't care. I shaved off my hair five times. Never thought I would shave off my hair, actually. I was very like anti the idea of ever even considering a buzz cut, but I did it and I actually loved it and I did it 5 times. So no, I had so much fun with my hair. Yes, I absolutely destroyed my hair, but this did not happen overnight. This took many years. I was bleaching, I would go black, then I would go blonde, I would do like any color. I had so much fun with my hair. I was aware of the consequences. Woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I'm shaving it off. It was like an impulsive decision, never thought about it, did not plan it, I just did it. And till this day, I will never regret it. It was one of the best hair decisions I've ever made, and I'm still considering. I constantly go back and forth. Should I shave it off? Should I go back? Should I keep the pixie cut? It was so easy to style. Like these days, I just can't be bothered with like styling longer hair. I don't know, but I had a lot of fun. I don't take this stuff seriously. For me, this is like a very light-hearted subject. So that was my hair care routine, and it was the best routine ever. And when I did not follow that routine years later, when I also shaved off my hair, I noticed a difference and it wasn't good. So this routine worked. And I think, you know, especially like the Fanola stuff is relatively affordable for the amount of product you get. So I highly recommend this if you're like on a budget. I think it's still one of the best routines I've ever had. So anyway, I think that's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful, useful, especially for like anybody that's growing out short hair. By the way, this is also a buzz cut grow out. So this is what it looks like. I cut my hair once, like when it was like a grown out pixie. So this, yeah, it looks weird now because of the layers. Like I need to probably cut my hair again, just to make all the pieces like come together, because it looks very separated, you know. It's like, and also the bangs are like very heavy, so I would need to like make this look a little bit more wispy. But right now my hair is growing out. This is what it looks like, and it definitely, I could definitely use like a good haircut. Anyway, so I hope this video was helpful. I hope you got anything out of it. And if it did, don't forget to like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Until next time.